morning. Today I want to talk to you about something we rarely think about, but it's crucial: knowing what not to share. In a world where everyone is broadcasting their life 24/7, it's easy to forget that not everything belongs out there. Here are 5 things you should never share if you want to protect your peace, your progress, and your power. One of the biggest mistakes people make is talking too much about their big dreams before they've even started. We all get excited when a new goal lights a fire inside of us. The energy feels unstoppable. You want to share it with your friends, your family, your coworkers, anyone who will listen. And at first it feels good. They might even cheer you on, tell you it sounds amazing, or say they believe in you. But let me tell you something real. When you share your dreams too soon, you risk killing them before they even have a chance to grow. Dreams are like seeds. You don't pull a seed out of the ground every other day to show people it's growing. You plant it, you water it, you protect it, and you let time do its thing. If you expose it too early, it dies. A lot of people don't realize that when you announce your goals too early, you're opening the door to distractions, criticism, and doubts that don't belong to you. Even if people have good intentions, they might put their fears onto you. They'll say things like, "That's impossible. Are you sure you can handle that?" Or, "What if it doesn't work out?" Suddenly, you start second-guessing yourself, not because you don't believe in your dream, but because you gave someone else the chance to plant doubt inside your mind. And trust me, doubt is the one thing that will eat away at your confidence faster than anything. It's not just doubt either. Sometimes you'll get fake praise. People hyping you up just to make sure they stay close enough to watch you fail. Or they'll applaud you just enough that you feel like you've already accomplished something, when in reality you haven't done the work yet. The applause becomes a substitute for progress. You end up talking about the dream more than you actually work on it. And if you're not careful, the dream dies right there, in the hype phase. Let me be clear. I'm not saying never share anything ever. There's a time and place for accountability and trusted mentors who will help you get there. But most people make the mistake of sharing their goals with people who aren't equipped to help them. People who wouldn't even dare to dream that big for themselves, let alone for you. So why would you give them the keys to your future? The truth is, big dreams are fragile in the beginning. They need to be protected. They need silence. They need you to focus on the grind, not the announcement. When you keep your goals to yourself, you remove outside noise, you stay locked in. You're not performing for anyone's approval. You're building brick by brick, rep by rep, day by day. Eventually, when the time is right, the results will speak louder than words ever could. Your actions will be undeniable. You won't have to convince anybody of anything. They will see it for themselves. And that's the moment you'll realize why silence is a superpower. So if you've got a dream, keep it close, guard it with everything you've got, and most importantly, put in the work behind the scenes. The world will catch up when you're ready. Until then, stay quiet, stay focused, and stay dangerous. One of the most dangerous habits people fall into is oversharing their personal life problems. I get it. Life gets heavy. The weight can feel unbearable at times. Whether it's relationship struggles, family issues, betrayal, loss, or disappointment, we all go through things that shake us to our core. But the truth is, not every battle you're fighting needs to be broadcasted to the world. In fact, most of them shouldn't be. We live in a time where people post every emotion they feel, every problem they have, and every argument they go through online or around friends, hoping to find sympathy or validation. But sympathy won't fix your situation, and neither will validation. More often than not, It just exposes you when you're at your most vulnerable. When you let the world in on your struggles too soon or too often, you give people access to parts of you they haven't earned the right to see. You give them ammunition. And make no mistake, not everyone watching you wants to see you win. Some are just there to watch you bleed. You have to understand that not everyone is qualified to handle your pain. Most people can't even handle their own problems, so what makes you think they're going to help you handle yours? Some will judge you, some will twist your words, and some will quietly enjoy the fact that you're down bad. Others will offer you cheap advice that sounds good on the surface but has no real power behind it. You end up confused, distracted, and worse off than you were before you opened your mouth. Handling your personal life like a professional means you don't give people a front row seat to your chaos. You don't explain yourself to people who wouldn't understand your journey even if you tried. Yes, there's power in vulnerability when used the right way, but not when you throw your problems into the wind hoping someone will catch them and help. The hard truth is, 99% of the time you have to fix it yourself. And you can. You're built for it. But you'll never find the strength you need if you're constantly looking for someone else to carry the load for you. And listen, this isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's not about faking happiness or acting like you don't hurt. It's about having the discipline to protect your peace while you work through it. It's about recognizing that silence is not weakness. It's strategy. When you keep things to yourself, you give yourself room to actually process, to think, to find solutions instead of drowning in everyone else's opinions. The strongest people you'll ever meet, the real warriors, the ones who have overcome the most, you rarely know the full extent of what they've endured. Why? Because they handled it behind closed doors. They didn't make it public for attention. They made it personal so they could heal properly. They turned their suffering into fuel without needing applause for surviving. So next time life hits you hard, and it will, remember this: not every storm is meant to be televised. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is suffer in silence, get your mind right, rebuild brick by brick, and then step back into the world stronger than anyone ever expected. Don't look for pity. Don't look for validation. Look inward, handle your business, and come out the other side unshakable. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and above all, protect your peace at all costs. One of the biggest mistakes people make, often without even realizing it, is talking too much about their financial situation. Whether you have a little or a lot, your financial status should be treated like private business, not public information. Money is one of the most sensitive, misunderstood, and dangerous topics you can put into the open. Yet people constantly fall into the trap of flashing it when they have it or complaining about it when they don't. Either help, both are risky moves that can cost you peace, relationships, and even your future. Let's be honest. In this world, most people don't want you to win. They want you to do well, but not better than them. When you start announcing how much you're making, how well you're doing, or how much you've got saved up, don't expect everyone to clap for you. Envy is a quiet killer. Jealousy creeps in behind fake smiles and half-hearted congratulations. You may think you're just sharing good news, but behind the scenes, someone is wishing for your downfall or plotting ways to take advantage of you. Some people will try to drain you emotionally, others financially. Both are dangerous. Now, on the flip side, constantly talking about how broke you are, how hard times are, or how you can't catch a break financially is just as damaging. First, you expose your weaknesses unnecessarily. Second, you start speaking lack into your own life. The more you repeat the story of being broke or struggling, the more you cement that identity into your mind. What you say matters. Your words are shaping your reality whether you notice it or not. Constantly complaining about money won't put more in your pocket. It'll just make you more frustrated, more desperate, and more likely to make poor financial decisions under pressure. Another trap is flexing when you're not even stable yet. Social media is full of people showing off things they don't even own, trying to convince strangers they're successful while behind the scenes they're drowning in debt or stressed out of their minds. That's not strength. That's insecurity wearing expensive clothes. Real wealth is quiet. Real security doesn't need to be announced. The richest and wisest people you'll meet often say the least. They are too busy building, investing, and protecting what they have to be worried about showing it off. Keeping your financial situation private is also about protecting your mindset. When you're not concerned about proving anything to anyone, you free yourself to focus on your actual goals. You start making decisions based on long-term stability instead of short-term validation. You avoid unnecessary competition with people who don't even matter in your journey. You start moving smarter. It also keeps you grounded. Whether you're up or down financially, humility is key. Money can come and go, and if you tie your identity too closely to your bank account, you'll be on an emotional roller coaster every time things change. Staying humble and silent about your finances allows you to stay steady, focused, and mentally tough through the ups and the downs. So here's the truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation of what you have or don't have. Keep it between you, your accountant, and maybe a trusted mentor who's helping you grow. You're not obligated to share your salary, your savings, your investments, or your struggles. Protect that information like you protect your PIN number. Tight. In the end, money should work for you, not rule you. And it definitely shouldn't be something you hand out to the world for judgment, envy, or false praise. Handle your business in private. Let them see the results, not the bank statements. Stay sharp, stay humble, stay quiet. One of the most powerful lessons you'll ever learn is this. Never reveal your next move. Too many people sabotage themselves by speaking too soon. You get an idea, you start planning something big, you catch a vision, and the first thing you want to do is tell the world. You want to show them how serious you are. You want the validation. You want the applause before you've even put in the grind. But here's the problem. The moment you put your next move out there too early, you open the door for distractions, doubts, and delays that you never asked for. The truth is, when people know what you're about to do, they start interfering in ways you can't control. Some will act supportive, but inside they're hoping you fall short. Others will flat out discourage you. Why are you trying that? Do you really think that's possible? Or worse, they might try to compete with you, beat you to the punch, or block you. People can't destroy what they don't know. But the second you hand them the blueprint, you've made yourself vulnerable. You've given them information they didn't even earn, and in doing so, you gave them power they never should have had. And it's not just people working against you. Sometimes it's you working against yourself. Talking about the move can give you a false sense of accomplishment. You say it out loud, people cheer, and suddenly you feel like you've already done something. But in reality, nothing has happened yet. A dream is still just a dream. The mission is still incomplete. You trick yourself into feeling progress, but all you did was talk. Talking is easy. Everyone can talk. Execution is rare. Discipline is rare. Finishing what you start is rare. That's where greatness is built, not in the idea, but in the action. There's a reason the best moves are made in silence. Real players don't reveal the playbook before the game starts. They don't tell the defense what play they're about to run. They move with intention, make adjustments behind the scenes, and let the scoreboard do the talking. You have to treat your goals the same way. Let your progress show itself when the time is right, not before. And don't get it twisted. Silence doesn't mean you're inactive. Silence means you're working. It means you're up before the sun, grinding while everyone else is sleeping. It means you're sharpening your skills, building your strategy, and preparing for the moment you execute without warning. And when you do, the impact will speak for itself. You won't have to explain yourself to anyone because your results will be undeniable. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they can't stay quiet long enough to let the work mature. They kill their own momentum by opening their mouth too soon. They lose focus because they start worrying more about opinions than execution. Don't fall into that trap. Discipline yourself to keep your next move to yourself until it's done. When you move in silence, you eliminate unnecessary noise. You protect your focus. You protect your energy. You don't owe anyone a preview of your greatness. Let them see the finished product, not the half-done sketch. The less they know, the safer you are. The less you announce, the more control you have. So whatever you're working on, that business, that personal transformation, that next level of life you're aiming for, don't broadcast it. Keep your head down, put in the work. Let the world find out when it's already too late to stop you. One of the most misunderstood things in today's world is kindness. Somehow we've turned something that's supposed to be pure and selfless into something that's advertised, recorded, and promoted for likes and attention. But real kindness, the kind that actually matters, doesn't need to be broadcasted. The most powerful acts of kindness are the ones you keep to yourself, the ones no one sees but you, the person you helped, and maybe God. Yet too many people make the mistake of showing off their good deeds like trophies, hoping to collect praise instead of leaving it as a quiet act of character. There's a certain strength in doing good without expecting anything in return. When you do something kind for someone, whether it's giving money, helping someone in need, being there for someone emotionally, or just showing love in a world full of hate, that's supposed to come from a place of genuine humanity, not a place of ego. But if you turn it into a performance, it loses its real value. If you need applause to be kind, you were never kind to begin with. You were just negotiating for compliments. Real kindness is rare today because too many people are doing it for the wrong reasons. They want to be seen as good rather than actually being good. But here's the truth. The most solid people you'll ever meet don't talk about all the good they've done. They don't need to. Their energy says it all. Their character is obvious without them saying a word. That's who you should aim to be. The kind of person who does good behind the scenes, who helps without needing to be noticed. When you move like that, not only does your kindness become more pure, but you protect yourself from manipulation too. Because if people know you're the type to give and give loudly, you'll attract users. People will play on your need for validation and try to make you feel guilty if you don't always show up for them. They will drain you. But when you help quietly, when you give because it's in your heart and not for attention, you'll naturally filter out the ones who are only around you for what you can give them. Another thing is this. When you help without telling the world, you free yourself from entitlement. Some people do one good deed and expect the universe to reward them instantly. They expect favors, loyalty, or blessings in return. But life doesn't work like that. Do good because it's who you are, not because you're trying to cash in. The reward isn't always immediate, and sometimes it's not even external. Sometimes the reward is simply knowing you did the right thing, that you stayed true to your character, even when no one was watching. And if you really think about it, the best moments of your life, the ones you carry with you when you lay your head down at night, are often the quiet ones. The small, unseen victories. The times you showed up for someone who couldn't pay you back. The times you helped someone knowing they could never return the favor. That's real fulfillment. That's real strength. So stop looking for the camera every time you do something good. Stop fishing for applause. The world is noisy enough. Be different. Be the kind of person who's kind because it's part of your DNA, not because you want your name in lights. Real ones don't need an audience. They don't need credit. They just do what's right and keep it moving. One of the most dangerous things you can do in this world is openly reveal your weaknesses and fears to just anybody. Now, don't get me wrong. We all have weaknesses. We all have fears. That's part of being human. No one is invincible, and you don't have to be. But the problem comes when you start carelessly exposing those soft spots to people who don't have your best interests at heart. What you have to understand is that not everyone who smiles at you is a friend. Not everyone who listens is loyal. Some people are only gathering information to use it against you when the time is right. You have to be careful with your vulnerabilities, because the wrong people will exploit them without hesitation. The moment you tell them what scares you, what breaks you, what makes you insecure, you give them the blueprint on how to control you. Whether it's fear of failure, fear of rejection, emotional wounds from the past, or insecurities you haven't fully healed from, if you hand that information to people who don't genuinely care about you, you're setting yourself up for unnecessary battles. Some people will weaponize your fears just to keep you small. They'll feed those fears back to you, disguised as advice, discouragement, or even humor. They'll remind you of your weaknesses at the worst possible moments, not to help you, but to keep you from stepping into your full power. And what's worse is, sometimes it's the people closest to you. Not always out of malice, but out of their own insecurities. They see your potential, and whether they admit it or not, they fear what you could become if you actually conquered those fears and overcame those weaknesses. But here's the thing. Your weaknesses aren't meant to be broadcasted. They're meant to be worked on. You don't have to fake being fearless, but you also don't have to hand people the keys to your triggers. Your healing, your growth, your battles, that's sacred work. That's work you do behind closed doors. That's work you take to trusted mentors, close friends, or even just to yourself in quiet reflection. It's not content for public consumption. And don't confuse this with avoiding help. Seeking help is powerful. Talking to the right people, the ones who are qualified and care about you, is necessary for growth. But random people on social media, coworkers who don't really know you, or friends who gossip more than they uplift, they're not your safe space. They're not where you lay your fears down. Be selective. Be intentional. Your spirit deserves that kind of protection. There's also something powerful about holding your weaknesses close while you work on them. When you move like that, you give yourself space to improve without external noise. No one can laugh at you when you stumble because they didn't even know you were learning how to walk in that area. No one can count you out because they didn't know you were struggling in the first place. And when you finally overcome those weaknesses and rise above those fears, people won't even see it coming. All they'll see is the strength you built silently. Strength isn't about never being afraid. It's about mastering fear without making it public entertainment. Strength is doing the inner work without needing sympathy or applause. The most unshakable people you'll meet are the ones who had every reason to quit, every reason to fold, every reason to hide, but instead they handled their battles quietly, overcame privately, and stepped back into the world stronger than ever. So whatever you do, stop handing out your insecurities like flyers. Protect your weak spots, not because you're ashamed, but because you're working on them. Let people underestimate you. Let them think you've got it all together or nothing going on. Then quietly become everything they never saw coming.